Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham, qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, and a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopefully let I came out there pushing his word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI has commanded us to do, so he can wake up and seal the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you Israelites who are scattered amongst the heathen nations that may look like the heathen nations, but your father's seed line goes back to you being the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, one of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Shalom. It's your brother Halakia from the GMS Denver camp coming back once again through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI with another video. And this time, this video is going to be based upon a situation that happened at a point that was brought up at the GMS Dallas camp, the live camp that just closed out a couple hours ago. And you had a guy come up, and the elders was talking about slavery in the kingdom of heaven, and he was like going to the scriptures and showed me where it talks about slavery in the kingdom of heaven. Well, that shows us that you have no understanding of what's really going on in the Bible and what the kingdom of heaven is really about, or what's going to be happening in the kingdom of heaven. See, that's the problem with the Christians, man. They believe that the kingdom of heaven is going to be some mystical place in the sky where everybody just goes after they die and they just stay there. No, the scriptures tell you that the kingdom of heaven shall be on earth, as it tells you in Revelation chapter 5. YAHAWASHI has made us what? Kings and priests unto our power. You see, and we shall reign upon the earth, as it is written, right? So the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. Now the scriptures tell you that the Most High sent us into slavery for what? For our disobedience, right? So let's get a few on that point to show you that we're going to have these heathen in our possession forevermore, man. That's what's written in the scriptures. And you can find that all throughout the scriptures. And that's just what I'm going to do through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, to show you it's written in the scriptures that we're going to have possession of the heathen. Why? Because they had us in possession. I'm going to show you through the spirit and power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI that the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he's coming back to enslave the heathen nations to put them up under his people in the kingdom of heaven forevermore, as it is written. So this is Deuteronomy 28. Now this goes into the blessings and the curses. Now when we go into the curses, that's Deuteronomy 28:15 on down. When we go into the curses, the Most High tells us that he was going to put us in slavery. You see? Why? For our disobedience, as we're about to read. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. It says what? But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of YAHAWAH thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So this is what will happen if we breach the contract, which is the covenant. And that's exactly what we did, man. We were disobedient. We transgressed the word of the Most High. We started to sin and fall after the heathen nations and worship their gods. So that's us breaking the covenant. So when we broke that covenant, all the curses befell us, man. They overtook us, just like the Most High said what happened. Now, let's get a couple of these curses, man. Let me see. Where is it? Let me see. Salakia. I'm looking for one. Yep. Deuteronomy 28. We'll start at 47. It says what? Because thou servest not YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which YAHAWAH shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. We're still in this predicament till this day. You see? When you have to go to your enemy for the want of all things, everything us Israelites have to go to our enemy. Everything that we want in any society that we're living amongst, we have to go to our enemy for the want of all things, man. Whether that be water, whether that be food, clothing, transportation, somewhere to live, so forth and so on, man. You have to go to your enemy for it. That's what? Slavery. That's servitude, man. You have no say-so on the matter. We have to go to our enemy for the want of all things. That was a part of the curse, man. It says what? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. What is that going into? Us going into slavery, man. This is what happened to the Israelites. And I'm bringing this out to make a point very soon, man. So it said, let's go into the translation comparison and see what it says in the NLT. Let me see. Deuteronomy 28 and 48 in the NLT, it says what? You will serve your enemies whom YAHAWAH will send against you. You will be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. YAHAWAH will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed thee. How did he do that? He did it by giving us over into the hand of the heathen nations. The Most High did this to us. Why? Because we breached that covenant, man. We broke the contract. Let's get another one. Let me see. Let me see. It was another one. Look at that. Deuteronomy 28 and 32, it says what? Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. When did that happen? The transatlantic slave trade, the reverse transatlantic slave trade. They were selling us on auctioning blocks, man. Taking the father, selling them to a plantation deep down south. Taking the mother, shipping her all the way to the island, so forth and so on, man. Breaking the family apart. Hey, taking the children and selling them off. You see, you want a live illustration of that? Go watch 12 Years a Slave, man. Go watch 12 Years a Slave. When they took that woman's children away and sold them to a different plantation. These are the things that happened unto us under the enemies, man. Why? Because of our disobedience. Let's get another one. Just want to bring a few of these curses out. So it says what? Deuteronomy 28 and 68, it says what? And YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. What is this talking about? Us being brought here to Babylon the Great in cargo slave ships, man. You see? It says what? By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. We haven't seen our land since then, man. We haven't been back in our land since 70 AD. We've been out of our land almost 2,000 years now. It says what? And there ye shall be sold. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. Do you hear it? And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. So the people who are selling us on these auctioning blocks, they are our enemies. That has never changed. You see? It says what? For bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. You see? Now, if it really meant not to buy, that would be contradicting itself, because it just said we were sold to our enemies. When you go into our word buy, it goes into redeem, man, meaning no one would save us. All these so-called black and brown revolutionaries stepped up trying to liberate our people. And what happened? All of them were cast down. Why? Because no man is going to save us from this. We're going to be saved by our Lord YAHAWASHI, man. The Savior of Israel. You see? So I'm bringing these few scriptures out to make a point. So now let's go to the Apocrypha. When we go to Baruch, it tells us, Baruch 4 and 1, it says what? Yeah, we'll start at 4. Baruch 4 and 4, it says what? O Israel, happy are we, for the things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. What is that? His righteous ways, man. It's only being given unto us. You can go read in Psalms 147. The Most High only gave us his ways. Why? Because we are his chosen people, above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. Thus saith YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI, right? The Most High told us this. Verse 5 says what? Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Now listen to this. Verse 6 tells us what? You were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because you moved the Most High to wrath. You were delivered unto the enemies. Because we broke the Most High's covenant, he gave us over into the hands of our enemies, man. They beat us down and they enslaved us. Do you see? It says what? For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, which are false idols, and not to the Most High. Because the first commandment the Most High gave us was what? We shall have no other gods before him. You see? So just wanted to bring those points out real quick. Now, let's go here. Let's get Zechariah. Or another one. No, let's get Zechariah. Let's get Zechariah 2. It says what? Zechariah 2 verse 8 tells us what though? So we just read that the heathen nations, we were given over into the hands of our enemies, which are the heathen nations, because of what? Because of our disobedience. Now listen to this though. Zechariah 2 and 8 says what? For thus saith YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI of hosts. After the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. How did they spoil us, man? Because they put us into captivity, man. You see? They destroyed our family structure. They sold us off as property, man. You see? Oh, we'll come back to this one. Let's get Amos real quick. Let me see. Or was it Joel 3? It's Joel 3. Yup. This is Joel 3, verse 1. Joel 3 and 1, it says what? For behold in those days, and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning what? The Most High is going to take us out of captivity. You see? That's what's happening right before your eyes right now, man. Verse 2 says what? I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of YAHAWASHI, which translates into what? Yahweh's judgment. It says what? And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. How did they scatter us among the nations? By all these different captivities we went into. And by our major captivity, the transatlantic slave trade and the reverse transatlantic slave trade. When I say reverse transatlantic slave trade, I mean Northern Kingdom, so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, being taken from the coast of America and being shipped back to Spain, man. The Northern Kingdom were on slave ships as well, man. You see? So for that, the Most High said he's gonna gather all you heathen nations over there in the Middle East to judge you for what you have done unto us. Do you see? There's a punishment coming for what you've done unto the Israelites, man. For having a hand and a part in our destruction and our oppression. And that's to fulfill the Most High's will, man. Verse 3 says what? And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. This is what you have done unto us, man. And all of you heathen nations have partaken and profited off of us being sold all throughout the earth, especially here to America. So these are things that you heathen have to pay for. You see? So let's go here, because there's a few more things I want to grab, man. So this is Zechariah chapter 2. In 8 it says what? For thus saith YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI of hosts. After the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. You see that? You touching the Israelites. You're touching the apple of the Most High's eye, man. We are the Most High's prized possession. We are his special people, his peculiar treasure. You weren't just enslaving some regular people on the earth, man. Because you have these people come up and say, well, your nation wasn't the only nation of people who's been enslaved. Well, the Most High don't give a damn about you other nations. The only nation he cares about is the nation that he put his name upon, which is the nation of Israel, Yasha Allah, man. Which are who? which consists of who? Us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's the only people the Most High cares about, as it is written. Verse 9 says what? For behold, I will shake my hand upon them, and they shall be a spoil to their servants. You hear that? Zechariah 2 and 9 says what? For behold, I will shake mine hand upon them. Upon who? Upon the heathen nations, and tell you off and tell you that you have a judgment coming. And how is the Most High doing this? He's doing this through the mouth of his prophets, man. This is what we're telling you each and every day. Each and every week, we're going to Howard's and Bibles to tell you people the same thing. You have a judgment coming for what you have done unto the children of the Lord, man. It says what? And they shall be a spoil. Who is that talking about? You heathen nations. To their servants. Who are your servants right now? We are, the Israelites. The same ones who are painting your houses. The same ones who are making your food. The same ones who are fucking driving you around, delivering your groceries. So forth and so on, man. The same ones who are out here cutting your grass. Shoveling your fucking snow in the driveway in the winter, man. So forth and so on. The day is going to come when you heathen are going to be given over into our hands, as it is written. Why? Because that's the judgment that's coming upon you for what you've done unto us. Now, this is not going to take place in the heavens. Let me finish this out real quick. It says what? And ye shall know that YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI of hosts have sent me, because it's going to come to pass. The Most High prophesied this will happen, and it's going to come to pass. Now, this is not going to take place in the kingdom of heaven. See, in the kingdom of heaven, there is no oppression. There is no slavery. Everybody is at rest in the kingdom of heaven. Not the kingdom of heaven, I mean, in the spirit world, Salakia. You see? So this is not talking about the place you Christians are talking about. When you die, you go up to the heaven. No, it's no. Because when you go back to the spirit world, you are at peace. Because Job tells you that. Job 3 tells you. Let me see. Let me see. We'll start at 11. Job 3 and 11 says what? Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Because Job, he was mourning because he was catching hell, man. The Most High was putting him through a great fiery trial. Now he's saying this because he mourning, right? Verse 12 says he was wishing he was dead. He was wishing he was in the spirit world. As we're going to read, listen to this now. Why did the knees prevent me? Or why the breasts that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet. I should have slept, and then had I been at rest. Job is talking about being in the spirit world. This is what you Christians talking about heaven is, right? In the spirit world. Job said he would have been at rest in the spirit world. Now listen. Verse 14 says what? With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with the princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or as in hidden untimely birth, I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There the wicked cease from troubling, and there the weary be at rest. Talking about where? In the spirit world. Where you Christians claim you go, where everybody's going to, this is where you do go when you die. But that's not where the kingdom of heaven is going to be. You see? See what you Christians are talking about and what Job is talking about. Hey, that's two different things. You Christians are talking about, yeah, the Lord is going to take us to heaven with him. Having no understanding what you're saying when you bring that, when you talk about this. There's nothing but rest and peace in the spirit world, man. In that heaven. Verse 18 says what? There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. But we're reading about the Most High giving the heathen nations over into the hand of the Israelites so we can do what? The same thing that they've done unto us, oppress them. That can't be talking about what you Christians are talking about. Because you say the Lord, you call him Jesus Christ, he's coming to take the Christians to go to heaven. Well, how is the Most High going to fulfill giving the heathen over into the hands of the Israelites if there is no oppression in the spirit world? Listen, verse 19 says what? The small and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. You see? There's no slavery going on in the heavens, man. This lets us know that let me see. That understanding of heaven that you Christians have is off. So yes, everybody does go to the spirit world, but when you go to the spirit world, you are in the state of rest. See, the kingdom of heaven that the Israelites have the understanding of, the true understanding of, is gonna take place here on the earth. You see? Where oppression is allowed. You see? Where the Most High condones this, as we're gonna read all throughout the scriptures. So no, the kingdom of heaven is not gonna be in the heavens. The kingdom of heaven is gonna be right here on the planet earth. Before we go any further, let's go to Revelation 5 to show you that. Revelation 5 says what? This is the account of YAHAWASHI going back to the heavens after he went back to the spirit, or after he made the sacrifice on the cross for the Israelites. He was taken back up into the heavens after spending 40 days and 40 nights with his disciples, man. So now this is the account. So what did he do? He unleashed the seals and gave us the understanding. Now verse 5, Revelation 5 and 8 says what? And when he had taken the book, the four beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. Those who believe in YAHAWASHI, those are the only prayers on the planet Earth which are going up to the heavens. If you don't believe in YAHAWASHI, if you're not serving YAHAWASHI, worshiping YAHAWASHI, your prayers are not being heard, man. Verse 9 says what? And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book, and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain, and hast redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Now let's get an understanding of this, because you Christians will say, oh, this is talking about all people. No, it's not. When you go into this word kindred in the Greek, the Greek word there is phule. It says what? A tribe in the New Testament, all the persons descended from one of the 12 sons of the patriarch Jacob. That's what this is talking about, because what? The Most High scattered us amongst all nations according to the curse. Why? Because of our disobedience. So that's why the Lamb has redeemed us from all over the world, man. Now it goes on to say, it says what? And has redeemed us to the Most High by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation, and has made us unto our power kings and priests. You see, it says what? And we shall reign on the earth. Now, where is this from? Who is this said to? Was this said to all nations? No, because when you go back to where it's pulled from, it's Exodus 19:6. Now, who is this talking to? When we start right here, Exodus 19:5, it says what? Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, who were the covenants made with? The Israelites. It says what? Then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Once again, the Most High is talking to the nation of Israel. And what does it say? And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto who? The children of Israel. So when we read right here in Revelation 5:10, it says what? And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. This is where the kingdom of heaven is going to be. On the planet earth, man. You see? This is how the heathen are going to be servants unto us in the kingdom of heaven, because our kingdom is going to be right here on this planet earth, not in the spirit world. You see? So now, it tells us what? Let's go right here. Let me see. Oh, matter of fact, Now let's go to Deuteronomy 30 real quick. Now we read about the curses that Israel was under, right? How we was going to be put up under the curse of having a yoke of iron upon our neck. We're going to be sold into our enemies. You see, we're going to, nobody will help us, right? Now this is Deuteronomy 30. Now everything I just mentioned was a part of the curses. Now Deuteronomy 30 and 7 tells us what? And YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Who is that talking about? The heathen nations, as we just previously read, man. That we were sold unto the heathen. You see, they had their way with us. They spoiled us. So all of the nations they had a part in us being oppressed, being shackled and chained, so forth and so on. All the curses that came upon the Israelites is going to come upon them. And that includes what? Slavery, man. Bondage. No. Is that not what's written? Is that not what's written? Of course it is, man, because let's get into it. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and 1. It says what? For YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI will have mercy on Jacob, which is who? The Israelites, the 12 tribes. And what is the Most High going to do? And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. You see? The land of Israel is going to be the chief headquarters of our kingdom, man. And our kingdom expands the entire universe. The Most High is going to come and gather us from the land of our captivities and take us back to our own land that he promised unto who? Our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Fulfilling the oath that he first made with who? Our forefather, Abraham. It says what? And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now, these strangers right here is not talking about actual heathen nations. These strangers right here are talking about the Israelites. You see? The Israelites who have been scattered all throughout the world, who fell away from the understanding of who they were because of the curses. But in the last days, they heard the prophets of the Lord preaching the word of YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI, and the Holy Spirit came upon them, and they cleaved unto the house of Jacob. Why? Because they are Israelites. You see? Now it goes on to say, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Now we know that's not going to happen in the spirit world, because we just read the account of what happens when you go to the spirit world in Job chapter 3. There's rest. You see, the servants is free from their masters in the spirit world. So this lets us know that this is going to be upon the earth. We're going to take them captives, whose captives we were. And we're going to rule over our oppressors. Where? Here on the planet earth, in the kingdom of heaven. You see? Verse 3 says what? And it shall come to pass in that day that YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. You see? The Most High is going to free us from this bondage that we're currently serving, man. You see? He's going to take us from under the curse and put the heathen up under the curses. And they're going to be our perpetual slaves, man. As it is written. That goes back into the law. Does not the Most High say he's going to put us up under matter of fact, let's get it real quick. Let's get this real quick. He says what? Was it cleansed? Let me see. Let me do it like this. Yep, there it is right there. Call YAHAWAH bahasham YAHAWASHI. Now listen to this. Let's get to the point. Matter of fact, I started at 22. Ezekiel 36 and 22 says what? Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. Because what? We were living as heathen, or living as Gentiles, or living according to the ways of the Gentiles amongst the heathen. That's how we profane the Most High's name, because we're supposed to be separate. We're not supposed to have any dealings with the heathen nations. You see, by walking in their ways and worshiping their gods. Verse 23 says what? And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI, saith Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. And this is what's happening with the men of the Lord and the brothers and sisters that's waking up all throughout the earth, coming and worshiping Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI as it is written. That's how the Most High is being sanctified in the sight of the nations, as he being sanctified in us in the sight of the nations, man. Verse 24 says what? For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness, and from your idols, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. It says what? A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. Verse 27, and I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. You see? And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your God. Now, what does that go into? That goes into what? Us being put up under the second covenant once we're taken out of this last captivity, man. Meaning what? We're going to be completely righteous. We're going to keep all the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI in perfection. Now, one of the laws, statutes, and commandments is this. Let me see. Leviticus 25. Now, we just read that we're going to walk in the Most High statutes and do them. We're going to do it in perfection. Because if we don't, that's sin. And we're not going to sin in the kingdom of heaven. Why? It's because we're going to be brought up under the second covenant. Now, one of the laws is this Leviticus. Leviticus is going into what? This is the book. Hey, this is the law. The forefather Moses is running it down to us. This is what it is. Leviticus 25 and 44 says what? Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids. Bondmen and bondmaids go to male slaves and female slaves. Verse 45 says what? Moreover, of the children of strangers that do sojourn among you, of them ye shall buy. And that lets us know that it's not talking about the heathen nations in Isaiah, or the heathen nations. It's like those strangers you read about in Isaiah 14 and 2. Is not talking about actual heathen nations. You're gonna find out why once we get to the 46 verse. It says what? Leviticus 25 and 45 says what? Moreover, the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them ye shall buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, they shall be your possession, our property. Why? Because they're going to be our slaves. Verse 46 says what? And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever. You see? This is going to be forever. That hasn't happened yet. This is talking about when we're going to the kingdom of heaven. This is what the heathen are going to be for us in the kingdom of heaven. This lets us know that this is going to be on the earth, man. You're not going to have bondmen in the spiritual world. It's not allowed up there, man. This is gonna take place here on the earth. And don't the scriptures tell you that the kingdom of heaven is going to be an everlasting kingdom? Don't it tell you that YAHAWASHI is coming to sit upon the throne of David? And his kingdom shall be an everlasting kingdom that shall not end? What does the throne of David consist of? The Israelites ruling over you heathen nations. As it is written, we're reading it right here in the law. It says what? But over your brother, the children of Israel, you shall not rule one over another with rigor. So we can't put an Israelite into slavery. So that's how we know those strangers that's being talked about. How it's written, it's not talking about putting those strangers into captivity in Isaiah 14. Those strangers are actually Israelites. You see? The actual strangers that's going into captivity are the heathen nations. And that's according to the law. We just read that when the Most High comes and save us, He gonna make us perfect. We're gonna keep His laws in perfection. And one of His laws is to what? To have the heathen in possession forever. And that's gonna happen on the earth in the kingdom of heaven, man. You see? Let's get this. Let's get Isaiah 30 and 16. Jeremiah 30 and 16. It says what? Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. All thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil. We just read about it in Zechariah chapter 2. The Most High sent us to what? All the nations that spoiled us. So every single nation who even made $1 off of the back of the Israelites is going into captivity, man. Every single heathen nation is going into captivity up under the Israelites, as it is written. You see? It says what? And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Let's see what it says in the NLT, man. Don't start that. Don't start that. There we go. Look at that. Jeremiah 30 and 16 in the NLT, it says what? But all who devour you will be devoured, and all your enemies will be sent into exile. All who plundered you will be plundered, and all who attack you will be attacked. You see, that's what's coming, man. Vengeance, recompense upon your head. You see, let's get this. Let's go here. But first, let's see what this leads us to. Look at this. Jeremiah 10 and 25, it says what? Pour out thy fury upon the heathen that know thee not. Talking about you heathen nation, you actual heathen, man. And upon the families that call not on thy name. For they have eaten up Jacob and have devoured him and consumed him and have made his habitation desolate, man. And you're going to pay for this. All of you nations have eaten us up, and the Most High is going to give you over into our hands, man. As it is written. This is what's coming upon you heathen nations, man. Slavery. Hey, let's get this. Revelation 13 and 10, it says what? He that leadeth into captivity, matter of fact, Revelation 13 and 9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So who led who into captivity? Did not the so-called white man lead the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans into captivity? Did not the transatlantic slave trade happen by way of the hand of the so-called white man? Did not Christopher Columbus and his goons come over here and put the northern kingdom, which are the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans, into captivity? Had them digging in the gold and silver mines till they were dying of exhaustion, man. They did this. And all of you heathen nations benefited off of it, man. You also said you had something that's going on in the Middle East was what? The sub-Saharan slave trade, where Ishmael was putting our people into slavery, man, over there in the Middle East. So all of you heathen nations are going into captivity, man. There ain't no way around it. And this is all going to happen on the earth. This is all going to happen in the kingdom of heaven, man. You see? Because what does it tell us about the kingdom of heaven? Let's go to Isaiah 60 real quick. What is that? Isaiah. Oh, well, never found it in the New Testament. Isaiah 60. It says what? So this is the Most High giving us the rundown of our kingdom on the earth, man. And one of the things the Most High says what? Let me get to the point. Yup. Isaiah 60:10 says what? And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls. What is that? That's slavery, man. Hardcore manual labor. The walls in the kingdom of heaven are going to be built by who? The sons of strangers, which are who? The heathen nations. This is not going to take place in the spirit world, man. This is going to take place right here on the planet Earth. The same place our captivity took place at. It says what? And the king shall minister unto thee. Let's go into that word minister, man. It says the kings of the heathen nations are going to minister unto us, man. Minister, right? It says what? To minister, serve, minister to. Let's see what this says. Oh, man, come on. Look at that. Perform duties or services for another person or organization. And that's exactly what you heathen are about to do, man. You see? You're about to be our servants in the kingdom of heaven. You're going to build up our walls just like we built up your walls. You're going to build our palaces just like we built your houses. You're going to till our fields, you see, and keep our cattle and pluck our eggs and pick our strawberries and pluck them oranges from off them trees. You're going to dig those water reservoirs, man. You see? You're going to plant those vineyards. You're going to plow those fields, man. Because that's what we have done for you heathen nations, man. You're going to pave our roads. You're going to be housekeepers, babysitters, cooks. Everything we're doing here in this kingdom, you heathen are going to do it in our kingdom, man. You see? All these goods and services being transported all throughout the earth. We're going to run it. We're going to be in control of it. But guess who's going to be moving and shipping and delivering shit? You heathen nations are. Up under the Israelites, man. Just like this current system was built off the back of the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The kingdom of heaven is going to be built off the backs of you heathen, man. You see? This is what's coming on the planet Earth, man. Isaiah 60:10 says what? And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, putting us up under the curses, allowing you heathen nations to beat our ass. The Most High did that to us, man. But what does he tell us? But in my favor have I had mercy on thee. And gave us what? That expected end that you can go read about in Jeremiah 29:11. You see? Look at this. Verse 11 says what? Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought to do what? To serve us. Oh, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. That's what's going to happen if you don't want to serve us, man. We're just going to destroy your whole nation, man. Jump to 14, it says what? The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. Do you see it? This is what's coming. This is our kingdom. It ain't this fairy tale that these damn Christians have told you, man. When the Lord YAHAWASHI come back, YAHAWASHI is coming to enslave you heathen nations, man. That's what's written about his second coming. I get it. Isaiah 60 and 14 says what? Man, let's read this in the NLT. I want to see what it says. Look at that. The descendants of your tormentors, which are you heathen nations, beginning with you Edomites, you so-called white people, will come and bow before you. Those who despise you will kiss your feet. Why? It's because they're going to be in servitude. They're going to be beneath us like they already are. They are already beneath us. But this is the fulfillment of it, man. This is the perfection of it. Us having the power, dominion, and sovereignty in the earth. That's what it's coming to. It says what? They will call you the city of YAHAWAH and Zion of the Holy One of Israel. You see? This is the kingdom of heaven, man. What else we got? Oh, let's go. Let's jump to the next chapter. Isaiah 61. Let me see. Look at this. Isaiah 61 and 4 says what? And they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities. The desolation of many generations. That's the tabernacle of David being rebuilt, man. Through who? Through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. That's what's being erected right before your eyes, the third temple, man. You see? Verse 5 says what? And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks. And the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and vine dressers, man. This, got to get it. Let me see what it says. Whoo! Isaiah 61 and 5 says what in the NLT? Foreigners will be your servants. They will feed your flocks and plow your fields and tend your vineyards. Do you see it? Who's going to be doing these things? You heathen are going to be doing this for us in our kingdom, man. You see that? That's what's coming, man. This is what's coming on the planet Earth. You see? So let's get some. Let's go read about when YAHAWASHI returns. Matter of fact. Let's get Psalms 2. Let's read some of what the Most I told you YAHAWASHI real quick. This is Psalms chapter 2. We'll start at 7. It says what? Now this is King David prophesying of giving us insight of what happened between the Most High and YAHAWASHI when the Most High created YAHAWASHI, man. The first, the only begotten of the Most High, right? So this is what the Most High told YAHAWASHI when he was first created. Psalms 2 and 7. I will declare thee decree. Yahweh have said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me now, ask of me, and I shall give you, Psalms 2 and 8. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. You see? That's what the Most High promised to YAHAWASHI when he was first created, to give the heathen over into his hands as a possession, and give him the entire earth as his possession, man. This is YAHAWASHI's planet. You heathen belong unto YAHAWASHI. Going all the way back to this exchange that's going on between the Most High and YAHAWASHI right here in this chapter. And what did the Most High say YAHAWASHI was going to do with you heathen? Verse 9. And thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. This is what we're going to do to you heathen in the kingdom of heaven. And why do I say we? Because when you go to Revelation 2, this is what YAHAWASHI has told us, man. Revelation chapter 2, verse 25 says what? But that which ye have already hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So we have to keep this faith and continue to endure, fight, persevere, all the way until we're up on those chariots, man. And if we overcome all things, YAHAWASHI said he was going to do what? Give us power over the nations. So the NLT says. Revelation 2:26 says what? To all who are victorious, who obey me to the very end, to them I will give authority over the nations. You see that? This is what YAHAWASHI has promised. And what is it? Then what else does he tell we're going to do? Say what does he say we're going to do? Revelation 2:27 says what? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. When? Back in Psalms chapter 2. Why? Because we're going to be co-heirs with YAHAWASHI in the kingdom of heaven. Lord willing, we make it on that first ride up out of here, man. You see? We're going to rule over you heathen with the rod of iron. When you go into that rod of iron, it goes into what? When you go to that word rod, it goes into what?
Strong's G, 4464. Rabdas. Rabdas.
Rabdas, right? It says what? Let's get to the point. When applied to kings with a rod of iron, indicates the severest, most rigorous rule. So we're going to rule over you heathen nations with rigor, man. That's what we're going to do with a rod of iron. Because of what? You're going to have to be corrected. We're going to beat the ways of righteousness into you. What does that go into? Oppression. We're going to oppress you heathen nations. For 1,000 years in the kingdom of heaven, that we're going to oppress you heathen nations and teach you the right way. Then after you have been cultivated in the righteous ways of YAHAWASHI, after that 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, you'll be released from hardcore bondage to go back into your lands, and you're just going to be what? In our labor force. How you think all these fucking goods and services are moving around the world, man? Hey, by the peons, and that's what you heathen nations are going to be for us in the kingdom. Keeping our world running, just like we keep yours running. You see? Now, let's go read about what YAHAWASHI returns, man. Now, this is Revelation 19. Now, when you jump down to the 11th verse, it tells you that this is YAHAWASHI's second coming. Now, we're going to start right here in Revelation 19 and 11. It says what? And I saw heaven opened, and behold, that white horse. Now, what the Apostle John is witnessing right here, he's witnessing YAHAWASHI's second coming. He said he saw a white horse. The white represents pure. The horse represents power. He saw YAHAWASHI on the chariot, the so-called UFO. So basically what he's saying, he saw heaven open and behold, pure power. You see? Pure power. Just like YAHAWASHI told us he was coming back. Then shall they see the sign of the Son of Man in the clouds coming in with great power and glory. And this is what the Apostle John is reiterating. It says what? And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. You see? That's what he's coming to do. Verse 12 says what? His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. Why? Because he's coming to take down all of you heathen nations, man. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Going into what? Going into his rank. His authority. You see? Verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses. These are the angels coming back in the chariots. And John said, damn, this is more power. Pure power. You see? YAHAWASHI's second coming, man, is going to be off the charts. You see? Oh, my goodness. It's going to be off the charts, bro. Whew. Man. It says what? Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. These are talking about the angels, right? Now listen to this. Verse 15 says what? And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. Now, let's see if this word smite means anything. Let's see what it means, man. He should smite the nations, right? Patasso. It goes into, now listen to this, to strike gently as a part or a member of the body. No, that's not what this is talking about. It says what? To stroke, smite with the sword, to afflict, to visit with evils, etc., as with a deadly disease. And this is what YAHAWASHI is coming to do. This is what YAHAWASHI is coming to do. He's coming to, cast you heathen nations down. Definition 3 says what? To smite down, cut down, to kill, slay. And this is what YAHAWASHI is coming to do to you heathen nations, because it tells you in Isaiah 16 that the slain of the, not Isaiah 16, that Isaiah 66 and 15, that the slain of the Lord shall be many. You see, and it also tells you in Jeremiah that what? At that day, the slain of the Lord shall be from where? From one end of the earth to the other end of the earth. YAHAWASHI is going to be dropping bodies, man. You see? It says what? And he shall, so he says, he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. Do you hear it? He's going to rule you heathen nations with a rod of iron. Let's see if this means something else. It goes back to Rabdos, going into what? When applied to kings, and YAHAWASHI is King of kings and Lord of lords. So this applies to him. It says what? With a rod of iron indicates the severest, most rigorous rule. And this is how YAHAWASHI is coming back to rule, man. He's coming to rule over you heathen nations with rigor. And doesn't it say he's coming to sit on the throne of David? Where is he going to sit on the throne of David at? In the heavens with the Most High? No. He's going to sit on the throne of David down here on the planet Earth. And his kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom. And you heathen will be perpetual slaves in our kingdom forevermore. You see? So yes, there will be slavery in the kingdom of heaven. The greatest slavery the world has ever seen is going to take place where? In the kingdom of heaven. Because we're going to slave every single last one of you heathen is going to be shackled and chained to build our kingdom from the ground up. So it says what? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the almighty power. And he have on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So this is what our Lord is coming to do, man. He's coming to enslave you heathen nations, man, in the kingdom of heaven, which will be upon the planet Earth. I'll wrap it up on this one. Let's get Psalms 149 and 5. It says what? Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand. To do what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. Why? For what they have done unto us. The Most High is going to... Oh, I almost forgot. Obadiah 1 and 15, it says what? For the day of Yahweh bahasham YAHAWASHI is near upon all the heathen. And as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So everything that you heathen have done unto us is going to come back upon you by the hand of the Most High's people, the Israelites, as it is written. Verse 16 says what? Let's get all that. Verse 16 says what? For as ye have drunk upon mine holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. You hear that? So that cup that the Israelites have drunk of, you heathen are about to drink from that same cup continually, man. It says what? Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Meaning what? It ain't gonna even, man, you ain't gonna even come to mind of how you heathen was living right now. All that's gonna be done away. All your power is about to be taken from you. You people are about to be, you heathen nations are about to be cast low, man. And you Edomites especially. You so-called white people, you about to be put in the lowest state that you have ever been in since you've been on this planet Earth. Verse 17 says what? But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. Upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. That's who salvation is for, the Israelites. And there shall be holiness. And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Everything you heathen have is going to be given over unto us. You go read about it in Isaiah 60. The forces of the Gentiles shall be converted unto the Israelites, as it is written. Man, this is all prophecy. This hasn't taken place yet. I want to see what this says in MT though. Whoo! Obadiah 1:17 in NLT, it says what? But Jerusalem will become a refuge for those who escape. Those who escape of who? Of Jacob. As it tells you in Isaiah chapter 10 verse 20. You see? It says what? It will be a holy place for who? The holy people. As it says what? And the people of Israel will come back to reclaim their inheritance. Come on, man. Call halayim la YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. Do you see it? And when we reclaim our inheritance, guess who's going to build it up? You heathen nations. You see? Man, call halayim la YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI. Sheesh. Hey, now going back, it says what? Psalms 149:7, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. This is what's coming upon your elite. All the nobles of all of you heathen nations, beginning with the Edomite elite, you rawchaas, you Rockefellers, you Oppenheimers, you DuPonts, you Merovingians, you see, you Gettys, all of you are going in shackles and chains, man. You're going to be the first fruit of the kingdom of heaven. The first batch of slaves in the kingdom of heaven will be the elites of you heathen nations, beginning with you Edomites, man. Verse 9 says what? To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. Who are the saints, man? Jump back a chapter. Psalms 148:13 says what? Let them praise Yahweh. Let them praise the name of Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi, for his name alone is excellent. His glory is above the heaven and the earth. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. You see, those who are the saints, those who are, we are the ones who are going to execute this judgment that's written upon you heathen, man. Thus saith the Bible, thus saith Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. Hey, the kingdom, hey, yes, there will be slaves on the planet earth in the kingdom of heaven, as it is written, thus saith Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. So with that, I'm going to give all praise, all honor, all glory to Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi bahasham qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching me this truth according to the Bible through the spirit and power of Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi. And a sincere peace and salutation to all you hopeful elect I came out there pushing this word in all truth and sincerity, doing the work as Yahweh bahasham Yahawashi has commanded you to do. And with that, I'm going to say shalom, wa, abba,